You're out of breath, back against a tree, waiting for your moment to strike. Your bow feels heavy in your hands as you train your eye on your target. It moves quickly, threading the pines as it moves towards your location. But this was to be expected, because you have planned this spot for the past 3 days. You've tracked its whereabouts, how it moves, and where to strike when the time comes. You look up to find it in the clearing. It grazes on the grass, unaware of the danger it is in. This is your moment. This is your chance, and it's long overdue. You knock your arrow, take a deep breath, aim for the heart, and relax your fingers. It was a pretty fun game mechanic, but hunting the same Gilgamesh does get a little tedious sometimes. That's when you realize you've been in your headset for 4 hours and you've built up quite the appetite. You take it off as you head down to the kitchen to make yourself a PB&J at 3 in the morning.
It really is easy to get lost in the world of the headset. The current state of VR is a dream come true for a lot of its users. The ability to transport yourself into any world you could ever want as long as you have $2,000 to $4,000 to blow on the system and the headset. The community that this technology has built, in tandem with the incredible experiences some of the games have given their players, its industry has been growing more than ever. VR creates incredible experiences for the users, but this would not be feasible without the use of MEMS technologies. But why don't we take it back to the beginning? But before that, let's hear a word from our sponsor. This podcast is supported in part by our proud sponsor.
No one. Absolutely no one. The earliest form of this technology, which was driven by pure curiosity, involving a computer and goggles, dates all the way back to 1968, and it was dubbed the Sword of Damocles. The headset was extremely heavy, suspended from the ceiling, and could only display rough geometric shapes. However, the technology grew substantially as time moved into the 21st century. Some of the highlights from this development era were the McDonnell Douglas HMD in 1979, which was the first traditional headset to be used outside of a lab with head trackers, then the Sayer gloves in 1982, which was the first to detect finger movement through optical sensors. The term virtual reality was coined in 1987 by Jaron Lanier, who was also the first to sell a full VR system. This all leads to the first commercial VR system that everyone thinks of, the Virtual Boy. Woefully uncomfortable, only output the color red, and caused numerous headaches and disappointed customers. But this is what people thought of when someone would say the word VR. But that all changed with the introduction to Oculus and HTC Vive in the 2010s. The Oculus company and the VR headset was a Kickstarter dream child, raising over $2 million towards its development and creating the modern-day VR headset. This is also when HTC and Vive decided to team up and create another new VR system called the Vive. But before we can go in depth on how the technology is expected to grow in the future, let's break down how it works now. Hey Sean, what do you know about headsets?
Well, Kyle, a majority of headsets on the market are referred to as HMD or head-mounted displays. Within the headset, there's either one large display or two separate displays, one per eye, a pair of lenses so the picture comes out clear, and a form of head tracking. This tracking is called 6DOF, or 6 degrees of freedom. With the help of the mounted trackers put into a cubic pattern, the sensors track your head and convert those points in space into an XYZ coordinate plane. Orientation and speed at which you're moving are calculated through accelerometers, gyroscopes, magnetometers, and classic math. This principle is applied to the in-hand controllers. These sensors inside of the headset is what allows the technology to work. The accelerometers, gyroscopes, magnetometers are what we call MEMS. MEMS stands for Micro-Electro-Mechanical Systems. These systems are located throughout the headset at key locations for maximum functionality. The accelerometers track the speed at which you move your head and hands for accurate tracking. The gyroscope measures your orientation so that your view of the game world stays consistent to how you move your head and your hands. And the magnetometers measure a local electronic field which can be found in controllers by moving your finger and changing the magnetic field around the controller. The controller detects that disturbance and moves the in-game finger as you move your relay finger. If any one of these sensors were not a part of the headset or controllers, the tracking would be horrible, the experiences would not be fun, and we would not be seeing the incredible growth in the field. By all working in unison, they create a single efficient product. It can be compared to the human body, which all of the individual organs and cells coming together to make a well-oiled machine man. Now, Kyle, how can this translate into the future?
Well, Sean, we can now discuss how the current giants are changing up that formula. The expansive nature of the technology could only feasibly be done with a computer running the games and the headset displaying it for the other player. Or at least you thought. The Oculus Quest is the first ever VR headset to be able to download and run games native on the headset itself, while also not needing external sensors for head and hand tracking, making it 100% wireless. This level of growth and ease of use is also translating to the traditional headsets and the controllers as well. For example, the Vive Cosmos is a new approach to VR, where instead of paying $400 to $700 every few years for a new headset with improved tech, the Cosmos is going modular. This means that any upgrade that stems from hardware could just be replaced with what's currently on the headset, allowing the consumer to get better products for less money. And when it comes to hand tracking, the Valve Index controllers are the next big thing. Instead of gripping a normal VR controller and interacting with objects in-game by pressing a button, the Valve Index tracks your finger movement, almost like you're wearing gloves. If your hand is open, then the fingers in-game will also be open. If you close your fist, then you'll be able to punch things in-game with a closed fist, so on and so forth.
The gaming industry is going to see a lot of growth in the future. The industry as a whole is expected to increase in value and be worth more than $300 billion by 2025. With the new money flowing into the market, jobs are expected to increase by 11.59% over the next few years. These trends are also continuing to grow with the release of new consoles with the 2020 holiday season. Typically, sales do regress after the holiday season because many of the end-of-the-year sales are over, and people only need so many consoles and other video game devices. The main sector of these jobs are mostly urban areas. The development of these products is typically in high population places because all of the industry's resources are in the area. Whether that be people or materials, both are readily available. As observed by the Wallet Hub report, Seattle, Irvine, and LA are the three best places for the video game industry. They are all also major cities. They base this metric off of three specific criteria: the gaming environment, internet quality and coverage, and gamer and developer opportunities. More kids keep growing up, and they are buying into the video game industry. And many people continue to buy video game products, so the industry continues to grow rapidly. Video games are also becoming more mainstream with the rise of esports. This rise in the entertainment industry fuels the video game industry. The symbiotic relationship between the gaming industry and the VR industry makes it so that if one grows, the other one is close behind. One cannot be present without the other. People want to be fully immersed in their video games, and VR is one of the most effective ways to do this. This is why these headsets are in a constant state of being sold out and restocked. Big companies see this as an opportunity to capitalize on the wants of the general population.
This technology is brimming with possibilities and applications for much more than just gaming. It can help med students with learning human anatomy on a better level. It can help engineers design and test electrical systems made within a VR home. They can be inserted into any field. Right now, you can go take a virtual tour of London, or even go watch a movie in full 360. Well, we're not really quite there yet. You can watch long YouTube videos, but no high-budget movies. We can probably expect to see films of this nature in the near future. The applications are endless, though. To put it simply, any way that you would like to have these systems apply, it can happen. In conclusion, VR headsets are like a bridge from reality to the world of imagination. You can be transported from your living room to Middle-earth, destroy the ring, and be back downstairs in time for your PB&J. Entertainment is on the brink of a new age. Interactivity is pushing the boundaries on what art really is, and that is a very commendable thing. I just only wish there were fewer wires.
We give VR headsets a rating of 4 out of 5 stars.